Hey people, David here. Have you ever wanted to experience the horrors of war? Have you ever wanted to play combat mission, but fear Wego-style nanomanagement, and couldn't enjoy any Paradox games because you don't have a doctorate in armchair alternate history and matte paintings? Then boy do I have the game series for you. That's right, this is going to be a 4-in-1 review. Today I bring the council a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Insubordinates, poor pathfinding, self-immolation, and more. Graviteam, a Ukrainian studio founded in Kharkiv, developing games based around the operations near Kharkiv and further away. Their specialty is the Eastern Front, but some of the best side content Graviteam has to offer is south, during the ʀᴛꜰᴍ, which most people know from Black Ops ʀᴛꜰᴍ, and the Middle East, which most people know from more contemporary history. Unless you're from the region, don't expect standard Holt McDougal or Prentice Hall textbook battles. Around here, we like defensive steep hills, prelude to bigger battle, and we really like ʀᴛꜰᴍ, Poliana? I'm sorry if I butchered that. I'm trying. Just because a battle isn't well known, doesn't make the fight any less intense. Graviteam manages to showcase overshadowed history, with great atmosphere and interesting gameplay. Their commitment to simulating the past is what makes Graviteam excel at the best parts of war sims and war games. Dedication to historical organization at the times of the offensives, order of battle and communication structure that affects aspects of your squad's abilities, simulated ballistics and damage models, lasting infrastructure and havoc from previous battles that stays a reminder of a victory or defeat, and dynamic AI which adjusts tactics based on your choices, allowing for one of the best dynamic campaigns I've played. And way more, all together leading to a highly replayable, fun, and extremely gratifying experience once you've managed to edge the learning curve. All Graviteam games follow the same formula. There are two modes to a campaign: operations and tactics. Operation is the primary mode, where you move your army around the overmap, select reinforcements, and prepare your offensives. Tactics is where you're actually expected to fight the battle. After, you sit in deployment for an hour deciding which shrub is best to hide a squad behind before attempting to execute your plans, and hope to God you didn't forget anything before fighting. I've seen some comparisons between Graviteam and Combat Mission. I can comfortably say these are two very different monsters bred from the same beast. Where Combat Mission seems to focus mostly on smaller scale battles with microscopic deliberation between every unit's move, Graviteam is designed around more broad movements across larger swaths of land. Micromanagement is punishable by death. Movement consists of orders and modifiers. Each movement has its own modifiers that affect a squad's formation, speed, maneuverability, and engagement states. The other modifiers can override the movement order's default settings. To order squads, you need enough command points for the squad's command level. To gain more command points, you need good communication. Squads in shouting distance from commanders, signal flares, wire comms, and full duplex radios help increase command point gain, squad morale, unit spotting, and observe fire capabilities. But say one of your commanders accidentally walks into a mine, or a friendly fire lane, leaving their subordinates without proper rank. It reduces the command point gain, and whatever squad is covered in high command fluids is becoming more and more demoralized, and has a lower command level, which requires more command points to order. If it's a mortar or artillery squad, no commander or spotter means no eyes for their artillery assets, which is already an enigma of its own. If you don't like the command system, too bad. You can't turn it off. You used to, you can't now. But you can change the recovery speed, along with many other settings. You can't only protect your commander's lives. Every unit is necessary. But what's a commander with no soldiers? Most campaigns have at least a few reserve reinforcements to take the place of casualties, but you can lose an entire battle group in one fight, making your front weaker. Company commanders, mortar platoons, HQs, engineer crews, and convoys all have their own respected uses inside and out of combat, but they are very squishy. The best way to protect them is to keep them the hell away from the guns. The majority of your army will be infantry. Some campaigns are infantry only. Throw in one tank. All armor you get is so precious. One well-placed tank can do a number on infantry, or even other armor. The damage modeling for vehicles is a blessing and a curse. Sometimes, when you need it most, a few SPGs and infantry squads, all low on men and ammo, can hold a ridge being contested by some KV-1s and Russian conscripts. As long as they don't tip themselves leaving a trench and make good hits on penetrable armor, a tank can get sniped before they have time to react. Now assume you have only infantry, some mortars, maybe an AT rifle team, fighting a single, immobilized KV-1. No matter how long they beat at it, your little 10 men can't do anything to this steel behemoth, unless you have something that could actually destroy the tank, or at the very least, destroy enough key components. Your infantry is going to become more whole than whole. If obliterating infantry is your strong suit, then may I quickly introduce to you Steel Armor, Blaze of War. Following the Cold War battlefields, Steel Armor, also called Sabo, is the second tank sim developed by Graviteam. I'm still tempted to do a separate video on it because it has an entirely new level of gameplay that I'm terrible at. Sabo was made for a very specific audience. Not only do you still have to command other squads not under AI control, you directly command a squad of tanks, and your own M60A1 or T62. Call me a clown because this is a juggling act. If you're expecting a kind of lenient, fun, arcadey, tank style game, I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to hunker down with your AI comrades during a nighttime defense, I highly recommend it. Just remember to keep your distance and watch out for RPGs and artillery. Good artillery could turn a company of tanks into scrap heaps, and trenches into pre-dug graves. Off-map assets are easy. Just place your firing lanes, then decide what to drop and when. Also, it's good to make use of zeroing shots for artillery that can be requested after deployment. On-map assets aren't as easy. There are 3 types of artillery fire. Direct fire. If the artillery squad can see an enemy they can hit and has fire at will enabled, they will fire. Observed fire is a form of indirect fire. If an artillery squad has fire at will disabled and AI fire control turned on, their company commander will relay firing positions to them based on the observed fire command. The commander needs line of sight or some way to communicate with squads outside of his view for an observed fire command to work. Automatic indirect fire is the better, easier option. If an artillery squad has AI fire control and fire at will turned on, they will automatically fire at whatever enemy position they can get information for. Chain of command and comms are most important for assets capable of indirect fire. I originally planned on doing a tutorial for this, but I still haven't figured out exactly how it works. In my opinion, the best way to handle artillery is to place the highest command unit somewhere with the best line of sight around where you want to fire. Place the mortar or artillery squads within comms range of your commander. With AI fire control and fire at will enabled, let the AI figure it out themselves. You've got more important things to do. Like, you could take that time to, at the very least, skim the manual. Do it. Read the fucking manual. Read the manual. Just read it. It's not that hard. It's got pictures. There's a community one that's got more pictures, if you want that, in the description. You're welcome. MuseFront's manual isn't too bad, and it's still updated when needed. Operation Star's manual, I'm more skeptical of. It was last updated in 2011, and is still referred to by its old name, ʀᴇᴠɪᴇᴡ, in the manual. Remember how I made fun of Paradox games? This all becomes more confusing when trying to learn more about something in Operation Star, and realizing you're reading an outdated discussion from MuseFront. For all the similarities between them, Operation Star and MuseFront are 2 completely different games. I started with Operation Star and had to readjust to the changes in MuseFront. Not just quality of life changes. Like in Operation Star, there's only 1 AI command button, but in MuseFront, it's split into 2 AI command buttons. Or the UI getting another update, blessed may it be. Graviteam implemented major graphical improvements and an overhaul of operation mechanics. Operations changed from turn-based to simultaneous turn-based, to better simulate unit movements getting caught up in the wire. You are no longer able to pick which battle to fight, because it allowed the player an unfair advantage. Now it's based around proximity to key points, unless that's outdated too. New special actions can affect an army, ranging from breakdowns to demoralization campaigns. And there's been a complete change in scale. In Operation Star, the operations worked around platoons, which needed more movement nodes and more micromanagement during operation mode. In Ʀᴇᴜ, operation sizes have massively increased, so it works around battle groups now. Maps feel less cluttered during operations, and my army feels better to manage, and tactical battles become bigger from the more densely packed battle groups. There are many more changes, but most you'd only notice if you've played both games, which you should. Both games have their qualities. In my opinion, Operation Star feels more lenient to play, but rougher and outdated, while ʀᴇᴜ is obviously more polished and supported, but requires more time to learn. Start with ʀᴇᴜ. If you like it, you'll end up buying them both. Or, if you're interested in the gameplay, but not rural Ukraine, maybe you prefer North Africa. Tank Warfare, Tunisia, is the first in the series to include a British and American roster. There's not much more I can think of to say about it. It's ʀᴇᴜ, but Tunisia. It goes on sale a lot. I got the Long Stop Hill DLC to play with the British, loved it, and then later found out I didn't need to do that. Graviteam has a interesting update model. When buying a DLC, you are only paying for new terrain and new campaigns. All units currently included in the DLCs are available in the base game. But there's a catch to this. New models are added separately in a free update. So again, you aren't buying the units, you're buying the operations to use the units in their historical context. You can use new units found in the DLC operations in the battle editor or in ʀᴇᴜ's new Come Into Battle mode. The battle editor allows for a lot of customization, but only includes groups added directly by the devs. Close engagement is a lot smaller, but still fairly customizable, and allows use of units excluded from groups in the battle editor. Graviteam has made exceptional DLC for both games. If you're tired of the snow in Operation Star, take a trip to sunny Afghanistan and Sword of the Prophet. Tired of the sun in ʀᴇᴜ? Bring back the snow from Operation Star with Raid. They recently began releasing their 1941 campaigns, and there's a lot of maybe potential operations for the future. All it could come down to is poor documentation. The entire reason I got into Graviteam was because of Operation Hooper. Now I have all of these games and DLCs, and I think it was worth the cash. If you're questioning the pricing, I can understand. I was once skeptical too. Buy it on sale. I recommend beginning with ʀᴇᴜ and a Cold War DLC for some variety. I like the length of Leopard's Leap and its use of the ZT-3s. Graviteam seems to always be preparing new content and updates for ʀᴇᴜ. Hopefully, a return to the Middle East is arriving soon, but I'm waiting for something just a little further away. Thanks for watching.